Drake doesn't even have a classic. Which is obviously, I mean, it's just not, that's not true.
There's a narrative that Drake doesn't have any classic albums, but maybe that's why Drake's been so calculated in the new album rollout and unlike any Drake that we've seen before. And this could also be why the Iceman era feels so different. Even the leaked songs have been coordinated and intentional. We got a lot of new music through the Iceman streams. A few of the songs were released shortly afterwards. For example, What Did I Miss coming from the first one, Which One came afterwards, and if you've seen the video on my channel, I did actually get to see that when it first was played at Wireless Festival in London. And then also there was the song with Yeet, Doghouse, which again was a very good song. And then there's been the few that were released but not officially. So there's the one at the end of Iceman episode 2 when he's in the elevator in Manchester, National Treasure, which was an unbelievable song. And along with a few others that stream, things look really promising. From various sources across YouTube, Spotify podcasts, and that kind of thing, we've had a few more leaks. One notably known as Sizing Me Up, which was quite recent and I think is one of the better leaks so far. And if these songs are to be on Iceman, then I would not be disappointed at all. In fact, there'd definitely be good additions that would be bringing the quality of the album up for definite. However, notably, with regard to leaks, Aiden Ross did say when on stream that 90% of the songs that we've heard so far won't be on Iceman. I think it suggests that Drake is actually really taking his time with the song selection. He's obviously making some bodies of work, looking back on it and reviewing it himself and with his team. Next up, I wanted to talk about the potential features on the new album. One of the rumoured names which has a lot of speculation going around it is Future, because Drake and Future collaborating on Iceman would be absolutely massive. The issue being that Drake probably still sees it that Future gave Kendrick Lamar a platform to diss Drake, and because of this it makes it very difficult to imagine Future and Drake just coming together like everything's fine to make a song again. Although it wouldn't have been the first time that Drake had reunited with someone that he'd had a rap beef with. And yes, I am referencing Going Bad featuring Drake by Meek Mill, which was a fantastic song after Drake and Meek Mill had squashed their beef. The issue is, however, this wasn't just a short rap beef. Future and Drake's rap beef then sort of led on to Kendrick Lamar being involved, Metro Boomin, Rick Ross, A$AP Rocky, and because this rap beef essentially started with that track on Future and Metro Boomin's album, I feel that Drake will have a much harder time when it comes to actually forgiving Future because of what he did to him. And Future and Drake were very close, so regardless of what was happening in the background with the two of them, having all of this come down on Drake must have felt like a real stab in the back from someone who he considered a close friend. Another name I wanted to mention was J. Cole. Now, J. Cole had actually spoken to a fan who had asked him, "Can we expect you an Iceman?" And he bluntly replied, "I don't know about that," basically saying that he's not, at least so far, involved in Iceman. And this interaction with a fan was very recent and came after J. Cole had dropped the Fall Off, so it looks like at least for this album we won't be getting any more Drake and J. Cole. However, two names I do suspect to be on Iceman are Central C and Yeet. This comes after both artists collaborating with Drake off the bat of different Iceman streams. The song Which One featured Central C and the song Doghouse featured Yeet. And even if neither of these songs are named on the album, I can really see both of them potentially having more features on there. And then finally there's the Toronto rapper Presser, who was actually leaked on the National Treasure track which I mentioned earlier. He was a feature later on in the song and it seems that he's probably likely to be involved if this track does actually drop. But again, going back to Ed and Ross, I really don't know if this song will be on the album because it seems that the majority of things we've heard actually won't be on there. And now moving on to why Iceman must deliver. Now this isn't like a normal album for Drake, this really does feel like almost a bit of a solo comeback. And yes, while him and Party Next Door have released an album since the rap beef, it seems that Drake really wants to make this body of work something to be proud of. It really does seem that even though it was almost a year ago when the Iceman rollout had begun, Drake has been coming up to surface and then going back down to make more music. It seems that he's really taking his time with this one and not wanting to rush it. This album will essentially be his evaluation of where he's at right now as both an artist and a rapper, considering everything that had happened in the rap beef and everything since, because he's not collaborating with anyone, he's not going against anyone, and he's he's essentially just doing whatever he wants to do creatively and speaking his thoughts. And now I'd like to speak about Iceman episode 3 and how everything sort of ended. The episode centered on a table labeled Legacy, which signals that Drake may potentially be feeling that his legacy's on the line with the next album, or again potentially this could play into the whole Pinocchio thing that he seems to be doing, where Pinocchio seems to be a metaphor for the lies that have been told about him. And as shown on the live stream, Pinocchios were all sitting around the table that read Legacy, so potentially he's just claiming that people have lied about his legacy and he wants to put that right. It ended with him being in a room surrounded by these Pinocchios, and again leaving us on a bit of a cliffhanger. Since Iceman episode 3, a lot of things have changed. The album's been confirmed to be dropping on May 15th, and we're going to be getting a final Iceman stream, which will be episode 4. There's also been a large explosion spotted in Toronto which Drake has claimed as his own doing, and while it's unclear specifically what this is for, it's suspected to be a part of a music video. Regardless of whatever it is, it's definitely some more good album promo because it's been making headlines. And speaking of things that have been making headlines, something else that's been making headlines in Toronto is this ice structure which Drake has set up, which has then led to the album release date being revealed. The police of Toronto literally had to get involved because this was too dangerous, and fans were seen with sledgehammers, pickaxes and flamethrowers literally setting this ice structure on fire. It's fair to say that Drake has done a pretty good job of promoting this new album. The streamer who found a package within the ice structure was the one who revealed the date of the album release and also showed some photos that were inside of the package which have been purposefully left there by Drake. And from these images we got some pretty interesting information, including what I believe could be the album cover or potentially a concept album cover, and also one of the images within this package actually suggested that this could potentially be a double album, because one of the images certainly looked to be almost double-sided, almost like 2 track lists could be displayed on that same image. And another image leaned back into that Pinocchio metaphor that we've been seeing throughout the Iceman streams, but this time there was a Pinocchio in a crosshair. It's unclear what that one means, however it might suggest that he's going after the people that lied about him, whether that's indirectly or directly through success or actually just dropping another diss. It's unclear at this point. I really do believe that Drake has heavy motivation right now to make this album a classic. I really think that he sees what happened with Kendrick Lamar in 2024 as an L and something that he needs to essentially come back from, and to do that the best thing to do is release a successful solo album. In summary, I hope that Drake eliminates this narrative that there's no classic albums in his discography, because I really do believe that there are some people who genuinely believe that some projects that that man has created cannot be considered a classic. And while I believe that that's an outrageous take, I really do believe that, as I said at the start of the video, Drake wants to put this narrative to rest. And as well as it being a successful comeback after an unsuccessful rap beef, making Iceman a classic would definitely end that debate. If you enjoyed, then leave a like, subscribe, let me know how you felt about the video. This is very different to what I've been doing previously with all the short form content, but I'm wanting to make longer form content from now on. So if you do enjoy it, then let me know.